Welcome back to Norfolk's Notables. I'm Anne Marie Battistone, and you're watching NCTV. My guest is back. We're doing a second episode with Paul Roche. He's going to talk about his racing career. I guess you called it a career.
Yeah.
And we've got some pictures that we're going to put up, and we're going to be talking about how he got into it and what he did and so forth. So, thank you for coming.
Okay.
Thank you
no
so
problem.
much. Thank you. So there's a very handsome picture of you here.
Yeah.
Now this is from 1970.
Yeah.
And you said this appeared.
That was in Speedway Scenes. There was a racing magazine, and they had that picture in there and a little article about me in there.
And what was the occasion of, why did they write about this particular time?
The photographer guy just came over and says, "Hey, I want to take a picture," and he did.
So were they talking about? So were these? It was an article about Norfolk Arena.
Norwood Arena.
I mean, Norwood Arena. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll forgive you.
All right. Now this next one.
Yeah, this here was the first car before I went to the races, and that's after it. A week or so after it.
So you put it, okay, so, and what is this model, and what did you do to it?
That's a 50 Chevy, 6-cylinder division. I raced in the 6-cylinder division in that year.
Now what's this big dent on the front of it there, on the hood?
Oh, that I took the grill out. You took the grill out because it was fiberglass. It was
to make it lighter?
Well, yeah, but they didn't want the broken pieces on the track from the grill. It was die cast.
Oh, so I don't understand. So you took it off.
Yeah.
And this was
just like the headlights we took out.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, and in case there's a crash. Is that what it's? Is that what you're worried about?
Yeah.
And so, what did you actually do to this? What did you actually do to this to get it?
On the racetrack?
Yeah.
I had the welded doors shut, and I put a seat belt in it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did such a thing exist, or did you make? I mean, they didn't exist back then. But you just
no, they didn't have no seat
built one of
belts in
your
those
own?
days.
You just built one of your own and
Yeah.
put the latches in.
Well, no, I went down the Army place and got a seat belt, a wide seat belt that they use in the
Oh, in the
aircrafts.
planes.
Yeah,
Oh. But what I'm asking is, do you remember what you did to make this car go faster than it normally would? I mean, how fast would these cars go when they were on the road?
On the road?
Like maybe 60 or 70?
Oh, they'll do all that. They might even do it 80 or 90.
In the original car?
In the original car.
So what did you do to make it go faster?
Well, it was a track. Norwood Arena was a small track, okay, and we only did about 60 or 75 around through the turns.
So it was a matter of skill and not speed.
Yeah.
And so, what was that?
Well, I did some tweeting on my own that I'd rather not talk about.
You know, I heard from a little bird that you were able to do something with these cars that enabled you to go faster.
Yeah, I tweeted everything. I read the rule book, and it said if you could do it right, they say you could do it, and if they say you couldn't do it, I did it.
And what exactly was that? Do you remember what sort of
well,
upgrades
just
those
like
were?
putting a different type of coil in, and these had points in those days. That
Right,
car,
right,
they had
right,
points.
right.
And we
I
had.
remember that.
I put double points in them, you know, things like that.
So in your case, you were actually going faster than the other cars, but did it also have something to do with the driving technique?
Yeah, I was pretty good at driving at the time.
I mean, now? Here's another one here. Now this is.
Yeah.
So
That's
cars,
me. That's me in there. This is my friend's car. I drove it, right? But he had an illegal motor in there, so that's
An illegal motor?
Yeah. So I was underneath there adjusting the carburetor and not lifting the hood up.
So no
That's
one would
what I'm
see?
doing there, yeah.
I was wondering, you've got the hood is almost.
Yeah.
So, now, what made it illegal?
The
Because
motor?
the way it was,
Oh, the motor was way oversized.
For this.
It was a 327 stroker, and
Now, where did that come out of?
oh, I built that motor.
You did?
Yeah.
And what did you start with? You started with...
a couple motors, you know. I used to come home and just take cars apart and put them together, and, you know.
So you actually took the motor out and put it
Oh,
back
yeah.
in?
Oh, yeah, I had the motor all out.
And so...
And that's my other car right beside there.
Oh, that's this one here?
Yeah.
That's the one we're going to see next?
Yeah.
So I see all these straps in here. Was that something
That's
you had rigged up?
roll cage. That's a roll cage inside there.
Now, what is that? What is
bars
a roll
that go
cage?
over there in case you roll over. That's when we got more sophisticated.
So you had to build that in too?
Oh yeah, I welded all those roll bars in there.
Now, where'd you come up with the number 52? Did everybody have a certain number so that you didn't...
Yeah, basically you pick numbers like this one here is 5, right? And the first one was 12, and then when I didn't race for 2 years, they give my number away at 12. So, and then 5, there was 5, and this was 50, of course.
Now, so these were...
This car here was the first 4 coil springs to run at Norfolk Arena.
What does that actually mean?
Well, coil springs, most of the cars have coil springs in the front. Today, they got cars...
You're talking about the suspension?
Yes, the suspension.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And why did you need... So you were talking about the... I can't think what it calls. What it called? It's called the
suspension.
Suspension, yeah, but it's also the... there's another word for that. So what do you need such a strong coil for? In case you stop suddenly, or...
No, you just put the coils in there to make it go around the track. See, I took this rear end and moved it back so it goes through the turns faster. I did a lot of, should we say, illegal things. The rule book said you couldn't do it, so I did it.
So this is picture, so we can get Katie get these straightened out here. This is the 4th picture, because Katie's going to put these, the 5th rather.
Yeah.
Actually the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, you cut quite a figure in those days. This was after all this accident you had.
Oh yes.
So how in the world? So your upper body wasn't affected. So you were used to steering and all wasn't.
This arm was.
All right, and now here is the same picture again.
Yeah.
And this is who's Mark and Phil?
They just worked on the car.
And there's Kevin's name.
Yeah.
And this is Kevin on the left.
Yeah, and David on the right there.
And these are your sons.
Yeah.
And now here are the other trophies lined up. Now, what is this truck back here?
Oh, that's the truck I hauled everything with.
Now, it looks like you had an accident here on the fender.
Well, yeah.
And
it did get a few dents here and there.
And so you just left them in. The motor was everything.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me something. So I think this is picture number 6. We'll have to check this. So the motor was, you were fixing the motor outside the car, and then you had like a winch or something to pick it up and put it in?
Oh,
a winch?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a winch. It was a motor stand that you hang it on and you put them in there.
Now, how old were you when you started? When you told that story about switching the plates around?
I was 15 when I started racing with Donnie McTavish, and he got killed at Daytona Beach.
Oh.
He was a rival, and then Bobby Santos was my biggest competitor at Norwood Arena for 2 years.
And where was he from?
Millis. And we used to, when we went to the track, right, we used to pull out and go out back because they made us start last all the time because we were the 2 fastest cars. And then one night, this Pappy Probert,
Pappy?
We called him Pappy. He was just an old drunk that worked the car and he bet me, he wanted to bet me $50 I couldn't pass every car twice, and I passed every car twice except for Bobby Santos. And we had words over that.
So how fast do you make these stock cars go?
At Norwood Arena?
Yeah.
They do about 60, maybe 70. Okay, but
But
then,
is that much faster than what they would go when they were normal cars?
You had to make because the track was so small you couldn't get up to speed.
You're right.
So and
so the adjustments that you made to the motors, what did that do if not increasing the speed?
The horsepower to get going out of the turns.
Oh, I understand. Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so here's somebody here.
Yeah.
And
he's the flag man in that picture there. That's how we used to dress. We had no fire suits in those days. I used to race in that shirt.
And there's Okay, so there's now. What does this say? Kevin what?
That's Kevin. Yeah.
And what does this say? Dam.
I don't know what it is.
Community owners, Mark and Phil.
They just worked on the car, so they wanted a name on the car, so I put the name on the car. But I did most of the work.
And then you told them what to do?
Yeah.
So there he is with the checkered flag.
Yeah.
All right, so I think this is 7. We're going to have to check this later so we don't get...
And this fellow here runs Norwood Arena.
What a handsome picture. What a nice picture of you. Very handsome.
This picture here, he runs Norwood Arena down at Besma's once a year. He lives in California. He flies back all the time.
So how big of a racetrack was Norfolk Arena?
Norwood Arena.
Norwood.
Not Norfolk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep thinking. I'm sorry. How big of a how important of a track was it?
Well, it was a eighth of a mile around. It was
That's
a small
all.
track. Yeah.
But I mean, was it important in terms of people wanting to race there and win there?
Yeah, a lot of people come there. And
So you're saying this guy came from California?
Well, no, he went to California years later.
Oh, I see.
He lived here. He lived in around local here, but he decided to make Norwood Arena his life ambition. So.
And then when he went to California, did he continue racing?
No, he never raced. He never raced. He just went there to watch the racing, and he's into racing quite a bit. Yeah.
My goodness. Now so he's handing you a trophy. Now these trophies here. So the one on the viewer's right is from '69.
Yeah. I don't remember what you said.
And
yeah.
And the other one is from 1970.
Yeah.
And these were for first place.
Yeah.
And one of them says something about professionalism.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, it does. I remember that. So despite tweaking the engines and everything, they still thought you were.
And it's a suspension. You had to do the suspension to get through the turns.
And that was so that the wheels could make the turn.
Yep.
Going fast.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Huh. So what was the horsepower that you ended up with after you were?
Oh.
And what did those cars start with, and what did you end up with after you?
This here was a V8 class, so I switched to the V8s on there.
What happened here? Something's hanging off?
Well, the bumper got a little tweaked there. Yeah, and of course I won the race. I think I was going by somebody. That was the first night out.
And this was a Chevrolet.
Yeah, '57 Chevy.
And so you just filled in here where the
headlights were.
Where the headlights were.
Yeah.
And again, why are the headlights just for
glass,
the weight or
the glass?
Oh.
You didn't want glass on the track.
And how often did you have to change the tires?
Well, the left side you put on every week.
Because you were turning left.
Yeah.
Every week.
Well, the right side because they were on their side of the track.
Yeah. But not the other side.
No.
So the outer tire took the most.
Yes.
And not the inside one.
No.
Huh.
Afterwards,
I would think they would both.
After this, when we get to this one here, we had to make suspension and make sure this tire stayed in the ground. And then we changed all 4 tires.
So sometimes the tire would lift off the ground?
No, because it was scuff. This here, and that picture there, the left front tire would come off the ground a lot. I could get that tire off the ground.
Without turning over?
Oh, yeah. And this here, I had
my word.
Then I moved up a class, and we had to do a lot in here. And this car is nothing. Everything's store bought. There's nothing here we take from a junkyard like that car back there.
Now, where'd you buy this? Where did this come from?
The car?
Yeah.
I bought the fenders, and I bought the chassis. I had the chassis as a late model chassis, and had the chassis and everything I bought for that car.
And then you painted it. You had somebody else paint it.
No, I painted it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And what model car is this?
It's supposed to be a Chevrolet.
Like a Corvette or a...
Well, like a Camaro or something.
Now, what's the purpose of those things in the back there that stick up?
That's a spoiler.
What is that?
It keeps the car down, so they don't lift up.
As you're turning,
yeah, we were doing over 100 miles an hour down at Thompson,
with
Connecticut.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
So how many races did you do at this level? I mean, how many times did you? I mean, these were in the like the 50s and 60s. So this was what year would this have been?
In the 70s. So
how much racing did you do at that point in these kind of?
I couldn't afford a lot of racing because we had to buy everything. It would cost me $700 to get in the pits that night, between buying fuel for the race car, buying fuel for the truck to haul it down, getting in and driving there. It cost me about $700 every time I went.
And how did you place when you were with these types of cars?
The most I ever did was third on that car.
And that's because
there's so much competition. We used to start with 40 cars in 25 laps.
Oh my God!
And
so what? I mean, what's that like? I mean, were you ever afraid? I mean, were you? It must be.
I was never afraid.
So I mean, it must be very exciting to be going that fast and.
Oh yeah.
Now, while you were in it, were there races that you were in where other people's cars crashed and everybody kept going?
Oh yeah, but they stopped the race if the track was covered with a car or something.
And then was
they
the race,
called a yellow flag.
Was the race called off, or did they just wait and they clean? So everybody started all over again.
Clean the track up and go back.
And you had to start all over again. Huh. So you had to probably refuel, right? Because
no, we always put enough fuel in. Yeah. Only time they ever did refuel is when this picture here, right? We had 50 lap races and we had to fuel up. You had to fuel up once.
And what mileage did you get?
Mileage?
Driving
mileage, about a mile to a gallon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Now
maybe 2 miles to the gallon at the most.
And then did you so how long did you do this for? What was the last time you raced? At the end of the 70s?
I quit racing and had Dennis Colt. He drove that car for me after I fixed it, because I pulled the plug. My health was not good. It still isn't, but that's beside the point.
And so he continued to race in this car?
Yeah, until he smashed it up and totaled it. And we had to picked it up in pieces, basically.
So did you insure these?
You can't have insurance on them.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
So once they were gone, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, are there any colorful, besides yourself, any colorful characters that you remember at these?
Oh heck yes, there were lots of them. There were so many. We used to call this one guy Infield Charlie.
Infield
Charlie, because he always spun it, and the Crofts boys paid him to go out and hit me and put me out of the race so they could win.
Hit you in the car?
Oh yeah.
Oh my! Well, how did they know doing that they were going to be worse off for it, not be able to finish?
Because Infield Charlie came out. He came out after
You're supposed to stay in your lane, weren't you?
What's that?
Weren't you supposed to stay in your lane?
Yeah, but when you yellow flag came out, we parked on the banking, all right? And because you rolled down because you had no starters in those days, but we had a starter in this one here. We had to have a starter.
No starter?
Well, the starter would be there, right? But you never used it because you had no. It was always just running off the generator all the time. I mean, no, they had no generators. We just ran off the battery. But say, in those days, we didn't run. Most we ran was a 25-lap race at Norfolk Arena.
So you didn't put a key in and start it?
Oh no.
You just did it with wires?
No. We had a starter button.
A button.
A button. I'd put a starter button.
Which is what they have now.
Yeah.
In the new cars.
Yeah.
And oh my, well, you know, I have a little favor to ask because a friend, somebody who knows you, whom I also know, had asked me to have you autograph this picture. Now, this is one of the ones. This is one of the ones that we looked at earlier today, and so a friend of yours was too shy to ask you for the autograph, so he put me up to it, and so I've got the pen here.
Okay.
And so he wanted you. I bet you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
Yeah. Alex.
No.
No?
No.
Holy cow.
But I imagine you'll find out. No, it wasn't. Oh my God. So that must be something that you have a lot of positive memories about that.
Oh, heck yes. I got a lot of memories. Yeah.
And it must have really made you, I mean, you must have felt very, I mean, it must be a tremendous thing for somebody's self-esteem to just get through those races.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I enjoyed racing and I loved it. It was my first love, you know.
Now, the first race that you were ever in, how did you place in that?
Terrible. I rolled a car over.
Oh, really?
The first race I was in.
So, what was the learning curve like? I mean, did you just...
Well, once I rolled the car over, right, I didn't care. So I just put the pedal metal and turned right.
It rolled over and came back onto the tires?
Oh, yeah.
You mean it literally went over and you kept on going?
No, I
you
had to stop. I had to stop.
But I mean, how did you acquire the skill that you needed? I mean, just to practice and...
I don't know. I just come natural, I guess, you know, because there's one of a race that is when I was talking about Bobby Santos when when Pappy Probert said you got to pass every car twice. I passed every car twice except for Bobby Santos, and it was after the race, right? I said I won the race, right? And he went up and he got the trophy, come down and said, "Hey, Roche, this is your trophy, but I'm not going to tell them up there." Well, I kind of went off the deep end, threatened them and everything else.
But if you didn't pass him twice, you didn't fulfill the...
I did pass him twice, but they only had me going through the pack once.
Oh.
Yeah, so I never did that again.
Now, we just have a couple minutes. I'm just still curious. So the lanes, in other words, the lane that's closest to the inside of the track would be it's shorter.
Yes.
So is that considered like a handicap for the rest of you? Do you start sooner?
Oh, no.
Or how does that equal out?
When you come off the track, right, if you're down low in the turns, you drift up to the fence, right? If you're right, you let it drift right up, then go through the turn again.
But then don't you get in somebody else's lane?
Well, if there's a car there, you don't go there. But you know, if there's a car not there,
you're talking about the sharpness of the turn.
Yes.
To go to a little wider. Oh.
Yeah. In other words, you went in the turns and you drifted up to the wall.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then, like at Thompson, Connecticut, we was doing over 100 miles an hour and drift up to the wall.
So is that the fastest what's the fastest you've gone then?
I think 125. Oh. No, excuse me. I did go to Daytona. And,
oh, you did?
Yep. I bought
I thought you were only in Norwood.
No, I ran Norwood. I ran...
Daytona?
Yes, I ran Daytona. I went down there. I built a car for Daytona in my garage. Oh. Johnny Black sold me a car that was brand new, but it was burnt. And I took that home, put it on 4 jack stands, and worked on it all winter long and get it ready. Then took off to Daytona and met Richard Petty and Lee Petty.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah, Lee Petty was his father, and they had hired the track. And I went down there, and he walked over to me and said to me, he says, "What are you doing here? I rent this track." I said, "No, I didn't know." Blah blah blah. Make a long story short, he let me watch. Then he come over to me. He said, "Well, you can go out and track." And I went on the track, and I lost it, and I spun it. Went down again. Every time I got up to speed, I went up, and Lee Petty come over to me and said to me, he says, "Want me to take the car out for you?" And I said, "Yeah." So he took it out right. He said, "I know what you're doing wrong." He said, take your left hand and put it on your right knee when you go to the turns, and put pressure on it, right? Because you didn't let up on Daytona. Oh. You ran flat wide open.
Oh, so that was the.
And I was letting up going to the turns.
And so that was one of the Petties that told you that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, we pretty much run out of time.
Okay.
But thank you so much. This was very.
Okay.
This was just fascinating. I'm still not sure I understand everything. But listen, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's really been
okay.
great having you on. And thank you for watching Norfolk Notables. I'm Anne Marie Battistone.